I greatly enjoyed last meeting's speaker from the St. John's Water Management District, and I had a warm feeling come over me when he read the district's standards for approving consumptive use water permits, the kind that would be required by a large data center. One of them, quote, promotes the use of water for beneficial purposes and prevents wasteful uses, unquote. Another one, quote, protects existing legal users from harm caused by new uses, unquote. I was encouraged by the Water Management District's three-pronged test for consumptive use permits he cited. Prong one, is it a reasonable beneficial use? 1 million gallons of drinking water every day, potentially, to further enrich billionaires like Elon Musk and Mark Zuckerberg so they can shove technology we don't want down our throats? Of course, that's not a reasonable beneficial use. Prong two, will it interfere with any existing legal users? Of course, potentially with drying up well water. Prong three, is it consistent with public interest? Of course it's not consistent with public interest. All of these people wouldn't have attended all of these meetings to tell the commission how much we don't want big data centers if they were consistent with public interest. If I'm interpreting the Water Management District standards, I say data centers fail all of its most basic standards for approving consumptive use permits, and because of that, we should all be golden. No proposal for a data center would ever meet those standards if I'm interpreting them. But I'm not interpreting them, and neither is the Commission. The individual Water Management District governing boards interpret the standards, and those boards are comprised not of scientists or hydrologists, but political appointees. They are patronage positions for ideologues and campaign donors to the governor. Douglas Burnett is one of the board governors for the St. John's Water Management District. What is his background? The biography on the district's website says he is the president of Doug Burnett and Associates, a consulting firm for major defense contractors. What on earth does consulting for weapons manufacturers have to do with managing water resources in Northeast Florida? The other board governors are lawyers, more political consultants, real estate developers, a former Rayonier employee. These people will side with industry over citizens and the environment every single time. Based on their backgrounds and professional interests, we have to assume, the board has to assume, any consumptive use water permit that goes before it for a data center will be approved. And the board needs to factor that into its decision-making when it writes its ordinances and regulations. Help is not coming from the Water Management District. The South Florida Water Management District earlier this month approved taking a conservation easement off land in Central Florida so a toll road can be routed through a forest. Those are the sort of decisions political appointees to water management districts make. I assure you, with its current makeup, the water management decision makers are no friends of Nassau County when it comes to regulating data centers, and that is my message to the Commission. Now, my message to you, if you're watching this, is to understand that water management board members are appointed by the governor and approved by the state Senate. If data centers are important enough for you to be attending these meetings, to be watching these videos, to be emailing, calling your commissioners, then it's an important enough issue to vote on. Florida voters will vote on a new governor this November. One of the potential candidates, Byron Donalds, thinks data center construction is essential to Florida's economic future. Know that. Think about the sort of people he'd appoint to our water management districts and what rulings those appointees would make about consumptive use permits. Nassau County elects 2 county commissioners this November. Ask the candidates where they stand on data centers. Nassau County elects a state representative this November. I am running for that office against an incumbent who thinks data centers are essential to national security and the region's economic future. And they should be welcomed across Nassau County. Data centers for everybody. Dean Data Center Black, he's the incumbent. I'm the grassroots non-party affiliated challenger. Know that. I will oppose data center construction at every step of the way, as I have done here in Nassau County, and that's what I want to bring to state government. Know that data centers are a political issue you can vote on. Know that federal Environmental Protection Agency regulators are refusing to set national regulations on data centers. Know that the EPA and the Department of Justice under this regime is not pursuing air pollution violations on data centers, including Elon Musk's facility in Memphis, which has devastated air quality in that region. The EPA wants to let data center developers build before they prove the air is safe, a reversal of the standard prove it safe before building policy. And of course, once it's built, it's too late. Know that you will go to the polls this November and elect a U.S. congressperson and a U.S. senator for Florida. They will have influence over federal policy. Know where they stand on data centers. Local, state, federal. Government and regulators can be a backstop and an ally to data center regulations in Nassau County or work against us. Right now, in those offices, we don't have friends, but we can elect some in November. I can be one of them. Know where your candidates stand.